At this time, in Harold's heart, he had already regretted that his intestines were green. Being beaten into a waste by Regnar's men is actually not the worst. After all, it only takes a few months to recover after being injured. The worst thing is that the International Criminal Police who came just now said that they would be handed over to the local authorities. If they were really handed over, the kidnapping charges on the father and son would definitely be inevitable. This charge is a felony. Sentencing starts with 10 years. Thinking that he might stay in prison for 10 years, Harold's emotions have completely collapsed. When being lifted out by Orville's men, Harold choked up with his nose and tears. May I ask the comrades of the Interpol, could it be, is it that we are really going to be sent to authorities? Are we going to jail? We were both instigated by others. The real man behind the scenes is Ragnar. Noah also cried bitterly. Although we father and son are wrong, we have already paid a painful price. Can you please raise your hands high and give us father and son a way of life? Harold turned around hard, looked at his father with red eyes, and cried out, Dad, I don't want to go to jail, Dad. With tears on his face, Noah choked and said, when the time comes, you will push everything to Dad. You will say that everything is Dad's idea. You don't know anything. Try to make the judge lighter. When Harold heard this, he burst into tears. The father and son cried, and the scene suddenly became a little too noisy. Orville came over at this time and said coldly to the two of them, Don't see King cry. If you cry again, you will be sent to prison. As soon as Harold heard this, he asked incredulously, Comrade Interpol, what do you mean, you don't send us to jail, mister? Orville said coldly, Fortunately for you two, we must keep the arrest of Roxa absolutely confidential, so we cannot let people from other departments know about it for the time being. So today you kidnapped Elaine and Roxa. It will not be communicated to local agencies, really? When Harold heard this, his whole body twitched with excitement. However, because of the twitching, the severe pain in his limbs became more severe, so he kept wailing. Although his mouth was screaming in pain, Harold's heart was extremely excited. In any case, a prison sentence is finally removed. The Thompson Villa at this moment. Mrs. Wilson was lying on the sofa in the living room of Villa A04. While watching the time, she said to Wendy, who was sitting on the other side, Why haven't your father and your brother figured it out yet? There has been no movement for so long. Wendy said, Maybe they can't take care of it. After all, there are quite a lot of things. Not only they have found someone to give Elaine to that person, but also filmed the video and sent her to the black brick factory. Mrs. Wilson nodded gently, and said with a smirk, This Elaine, she's really drifting recently. She's always floating in the sky. It's really a bit ungrounded, so she should also experience it. What is civil suffering? Wendy smiled and said, Yes, Grandma, Elaine, this B*TCH woman. I hate her a long time ago, especially since she is so terrible this time. I can't wait to break her leg again. As she said with a look of nostalgia, It was interesting when I was in the cell. That Jenna, the 5 big and 3 rough, could not wait to take Elaine's feces out with a slap. Elaine was really miserable at that time. Thinking about it, I still get excited. Mrs. Wilson also nodded again and said happily, Oh. Jenna, the rural lady, really has 2 strengths. That woman is as strong as a cow. To deal with Elaine, one can beat her. She on her own was enough. Wendy sighed on the side. It's a pity that Elaine will be sent to the black brick kiln to burn bricks soon, and Jenna hasn't come out yet. After she comes out, she may never see Elaine again in this life. Who said no? The old lady also sighed, but it doesn't matter. When Elaine arrives at the black brick kiln, there will be endless suffering waiting for her. At this time, Orus Hill Women's Detention Center. Jenna, who was in the cell, suddenly sneezed. Several entourages hurried over and asked diligently, Sister Jenna, what's wrong with you? Have you caught a cold? Jenna rubbed her nose. Don't know, maybe someone misses me. The woman next to her smiled and said, Who would think of us like as prisoners who have no relatives and no cause? Yes. The other person also echoed, This will be the Chinese New Year right away, and no one in my family has ever visited me. It really makes me chill. After that, she looked at Jenna and asked, Sister Jenna, how long will you get before you get released? Jenna smacked and said, Hey, it's still 5 or 6 months. That's too soon. I'm still 8 months away. I'm 4 months. Hey, you can't spend the new year at home this year, and it should be fine next year. Jenna sighed. Mom is gone. The husband also ran away with the vixen, and my brother's family is a tortoise bastard again. I don't even have a family member in this world. Having said this, Gina's eye circles suddenly reddened, and she choked up. Hey. Looking at the new year, I couldn't burn some paper money for the old lady. Don't know how she lived there and whether she has enough money. It's cold today. Don't know if she and my dad have the money to celebrate the new year. Sister Jenna, don't think about it. After you go out, there will be opportunities to burn paper for your parents. Jenna nodded lightly, and couldn't help sighing. Actually, I still miss that old lady. Seeing how she was bullied, I remember how pitiful Mom was when she was bullied by my sister-in-law when she was alive. Looks like, in this heart, there is a burst of pain. After speaking, she asked several other people, You said? What is Mrs. Wilson doing now? When she came in, she didn't even have a place to sleep. How is life now? Shouldn't she still wander in the street? As they were talking, the prison guard suddenly came over and said to a few of them, Jenna, Tabia, and Lexi, the 3 of you pack up and are ready to be released. The 3 of them were stunned. Jenna asked in surprise, Preparing to be released from prison? Isn't it time for me? The prison guard said, Someone has already handled the bail pending trial for you. You can be released today, Jenna said in surprise, Don't know anyone who will help me get a bail pending trial. The prison guard said indifferently, Your old acquaintance, Mrs. Wilson, asked someone to do it. She paid a lot of deposit for the 3 of you. Jenna was even more surprised and speechless. She opened her mouth wide and thought for a long time before she asked in disbelief, Mrs. Wilson? Isn't she miserable? Where can she get the money to help us get the bail pending trial? The prison guard laughed and said, That Mrs. Wilson is amazing now. I heard that the family business has come back to life, and the family has also moved into the luxury villa of Thompson. It is said that they have arranged to let you go to Thompson. Good day.